Hey, this is Hillary Goldstein, Editor-in-Chief of IGN Xbox, here with a video review of Lost Odyssey. In Lost Odyssey, you play as Kaim, a 1,000-year-old immortal who's lost his memory. And you're basically on this quest to find other immortals who also have had their memory stripped from them, figure out what's happened to you, and stop a big bad guy from destroying the world. It's kind of a typical Japanese RPG story in that a group of people who, against all odds, have to fight a giant evil who, is out to dominate the universe. Nothing special there. What does make the story interesting are the little interpersonal relationships between the different immortals, and you kind of get a real sense of, the pains of being immortal and all of the sad memories that come with it. Lost Odyssey is from Mistwalker Studios and Sakaguchi, who is considered one of the fathers of the Final Fantasy series. And this is a very traditional Japanese RPG. It's turn-based, it has all the same great qualities and also a lot of the faults of Japanese RPGs. It kind of builds very slowly, but it's very long, epic story with a lot of cool CG moments in it, very story-heavy. Plenty of side quests to fill out your day. It's going to take you about 35 to 50 hours to beat, depending on how much you want to do. Now, there are a couple of things that do make it stand out from other Japanese RPGs of the last few years. One of those is the ring building system, which is actually pretty cool. So you can take different components that you get from killing enemies, stealing them from enemies, finding them around on the ground, and take those and actually build them into unique rings. And then you can actually take a ring that you build, like say a flare ring, and actually combine that with another ring to build even more powerful ones. And all of these have different combat effects. And so what you find yourself doing is actually micromanaging the rings, because you can switch them at any time. So you might see in combat that one enemy is a wind-based enemy, so you want to switch to one of your fire-based rings because it's going to do more damage to it. And there are dozens and dozens of rings. In fact, as you move along in the 40-plus hour game, you're just going to come across close to 100 different rings that you can build, and it sort of becomes a game in itself of sort of finding all those little components and figuring out which rings you want to combine to make, new and better and stronger rings for that final battle. Now, of course, there's going to be magic in a game like this, and you have 5 characters available to be used in your party in combat, and pretty much any of them can use magic in some form. It's all based on a very traditional element combat where it's, wind, fire, earth, water, and it's, which elements play opposite to those. Nothing really new in the magic department. The effects look really nice. Lost Odyssey actually uses the Unreal Engine, which is both a benefit and a detriment. It's a benefit in that when you look at the detail on some of the characters' faces, they look really great close up. You see some of the environments look really nice, really gorgeous, but at the same time, there are a lot of technical issues. There's tons of loading. I mean, we're talking Resident Evil 1 loading, where you open a door, go into a room, 30-second load screen. You go to a new area, 2-minute load screen. You go into combat, always 20 to 30 seconds just to get combat to start. Lots of loading issues and some frame rate issues as well. Pretty much seems that Mistwalker was not able to get a full grasp on the technology of the Unreal Engine. So while it does create some really gorgeous effects, it also certainly hampers the game quite a bit, technically speaking. One of the great things about Lost Odyssey are just the number of cool enemies. Now, granted, you're only going to see maybe, 6 or so enemy types per area that you go into, but there's a great variety between one area to the next. So you're going to see these really bizarre creatures. You're going to see things as cool as giant frozen dinosaurs coming to life. You're going to see these balloons that sort of blow up and explode. It's just very visual, very vivid, very beautiful enemies, just a great variety. In the wake of games like Mass Effect and Elder Scrolls Oblivion, Lost Odyssey does sort of seem a little bit like a relic. It's kind of a blast from the past, and it does feel a bit outdated. But at the same time, if you're the type of person that doesn't mind slower turn-based RPGs, you're probably going to have a lot of fun with this. The story is pretty cliched, pretty standard, but the other elements make up for it. And while it's not a perfect game, it's certainly one of the better RPGs available on Xbox 360. So there you have it, our verdict on Lost Odyssey, a game from Mistwalker Studios and Microsoft Game Studios. It's pretty good for a Japanese RPG. Go ahead and pick it up if you like those turn-based style games.